I'm listening to Owen Cook talk, and he said something that really rang true in my head. So I'm gonna play it for you guys right here.
If you also had a group of people in every city that want to come learn from you, you'd also be rich. The hardest part of any business is the lead generation.
Right there.
Okay? So you gotta understand. Um, I have groups of boot camp students that's just rich guys. Okay? It's guys that just have money.
One or two people
Let
that
me
pay
ask you a
his
question.
bills.
How many of you here, if you had $5 million or more, and that's not even, by the way, that's not even high. That's not even high. But you had $5 million or more, would basically take pretty much every fucking training I ever do. If you had $5 million or more. Okay, so you basically would all do it, right?
I really like this topic for this video because what Owen's saying here is the only thing that's stopping you from buying the things that you want, like his trainings, and he's saying that because his trainings are going to, get results, but a lot of times people don't take them is because they don't have the 5,000 or the 1,000 or the 10,000 to put down, right? So they just go to the free events. He's explaining why he has money isn't this or that random reason. It's actually lead generation. That's what Owen Cook teaches with social interactions, being able to drop the derp state and call fears bluff. Go out there and he's talking in this video about learning social skills because social skills don't have a gatekeeper. No one's stopping you from being confident. No one's stopping you from being loud when you speak. No one's stopping you from having social skills. That's something that you can do even when you're a broke loser, right? When you have nothing else to do. So what he's saying there is when you get good at building your social skills and you have that tangible skill set, you can now use it to lead generation for yourself. It could work at anything. Let's say you're an MMA fighter, like I'm watching an MMA fight in front of me here. They got on the big screen. Well, why is Jake Paul so successful as a boxer? Is he the most technically sound boxer on the planet Earth? No. His lead generation is so strong that he gets strong pay-per-view numbers. And even if there's better fighters underneath his card, he's going to get the bigger payday and more attention, more talk around him, more buzz, because his lead generation is high, so it makes him more relevant to the situation. Even when you look at Jesus Christ, his lead generation is the reason why he's so influential. He knew exactly how to go about it without being violent, Jesus didn't even have to talk loud. But, then again, Jesus is the perfect man. He can do anything. But for a tangible skill set, let's say, me as a musician, I want to get an audience. Instead of me just relying on the algorithm and crossing my fingers and hoping the best, a musician could go out and learn how to speak to people and say, hey, you like music like this? Check me out. I actually remember this one guy came up to me in an airport. He had headphones ready, a little 30-second clip of 10 seconds at a time, his 3 favorite songs of himself. And he said, put on these headphones. Let me know what you think, what you think. Are you going to buy an album? Give me whatever you want. $2, $10, whatever you feel is worth it. I bought an album that day. And I followed him on Instagram for a while. I don't remember his Instagram handle. Otherwise, I'd shout him out. I'll try to find him and shout him out if I can. But basically, I followed him for a while, and this man basically made $100, $200 a day just going into airports and through lead generation being like, hey, check me out. And he may not have become a famous artist while doing it, but he was getting better results than sitting there and hoping. He was getting a skill set that he could use maybe down the line somewhere else if it wasn't it through his own music career, or even if it was. When I think about the wellness company that I refer customers to monthly and I make money doing that, that's just lead generation, I paid for a list of phone numbers to have so that I could call them, hence lead generation. I did vacation sales, and we would call 500 to 800 people a day. Lead generation, new phone numbers every single day. Every single thing, even what I do now with GSA business government contracts, You have to get the lead information for the companies that are looking for it or would be able to use it. So everything is lead generation. It even comes down to this one mindset. A lot of times people are trying to get 1 million followers, but just like in Russell Branson's book, The ClickFunnels Guy, Russell Brunson, the ClickFunnels guy, he goes, you don't need 1 million fans. You just need 100 or 1,000 superfans. Superfans is someone that would support you. If you drop a t-shirt drop, they're buying it. If you drop a freaking, whatever you drop, they're buying it. A poster, a CD, you drop an album, they're listening to it. That is a superfan, someone that is fully supportive of you. Like how I am with Owen Cook. If I got the ability to go to a free event, I'm going. When I have money in the future to invest in his programs, like he just said, I'm investing because I know it's well worth my time. I want to. He doesn't even have to convince me. I'm his super fan, right? Now you want super fans for whatever you do, like with MMA. You don't need 1,000 or 1 million general fans that kind of like you. You need a bunch or just a small but definite amount of super fans, like 100 to 1,000. And then you're a force to be reckoned with, because then they're showing up and they're screaming your name and you got an energy behind you. Think about it. Even that's how Jesus Christ started. He didn't have 1,000 or 2,000 or 5,000 general followers. A lot of people didn't even follow him at all at first, to where they were just kind of like, I don't know, this guy's saying a lot of crazy stuff. But he had what? 12 disciples. His super fans that understood, didn't need to be convinced otherwise. They were in it to win it, no matter the mission. And then their faith inspired other people's faith, because they saw how real and convinced they were, because they were convinced that it was the truth. And that's going to happen through word of mouth, through your super fans too. Just like, like trying to think of a good example. You got, let's say I'm a big fan of Token, the rapper. You know how that started out? My friend Ian was a friend. My friend Ian was a super fan of Token. And he's like, man, this is my favorite rapper. And he got me to check him out. And I was like, wow, he does spit really good. And now my friend Ian's passed away. And every time I listen to Token, I listen all the more intently, because he was Ian's favorite rapper. Your super fans have an influence on other people. Your word of mouth has an influence on other people, even if it's not you directly. So it's kind of like that saying, people say your karma, what comes around goes around. I don't believe in karma. I believe in the truth, the way, the life, Jesus Christ. And Jesus Christ and God, the Heavenly Father, show grace to even the worst sinners by letting us breathe air and feel the sun after sinning, So we can't look at it like, oh, he deserves this and he deserves that. But you also have to look at it like your actions do have consequences. So if you do good things, even if you feel like you're not getting the good results, like the Bible says, do not tire of doing good, because if you continue doing good, eventually the day will come where you will reap the harvest of what you have sown. So don't give up on doing the good. Anything that is good takes time. Anything that is given to you too quickly is like a weed that has sprouted overnight. But the mustard seed or the bamboo tree takes a while to grow, but once it does, or the oak tree, the tree, you may not see it for a while, but once it grows, its firm roots, the foundation, it sprouts up and is there for years to come. So you have to look at it like that. And the good deeds that you're sowing through your audience or your super fans, or however you're looking at it here, the people that are in it to win it with you under your wing, it's going to affect it down the line. Now, you don't want to think too much on this, because analysis paralysis is a real thing. But you have to think on it really hard and really focused right here and now. While you have the idea, lock it in. Because the more potent you focus on something when you have that idea distinct in your brain, like right now, if this is making sense to you, harp on it. Make a note, brainstorm, do something, lock it in your head. Because if you say you're going to do it and then you don't do it right now, you might do it. You might. I've done things like that before. But let's be honest, you're going to forget about it. Remember This guy Owen Cook's been doing self-development for over 30 years, 25, 30 years. He knows what he's talking about. What he was saying in that video is he says, I'm not attached to these things I'm saying. If you got something better for me, put me on. Same thing. I'm convinced that what he's saying is right because I can dissect it and analyze it and put it to Jesus, put it to every other person like musicians, MMA fighters. I don't care if you want to be a street performer, dancer. You got a lead generation, right? You're not going to do it out in the middle of Tucson, Arizona. You're going to go to Clearwater Beach, and you're going to get out where people are walking by. Lead generation. If you got a booth in the flea market, you're not going to go to the very back of the parking lot where no one goes. You're going to want to pay for prime real estate. Like Token just said in his song, Peter, with Token, he says, I used to live on a cul-de-sac, but I don't like being cornered in. I'd rather be on an avenue, where the traffic's going by. That's lead generation right there. And Alex Harmozy, I was watching a video, and he goes, I would rather pay for prime real estate, prime spot, right in the middle of the city where I can preferably walk or drive really close to a place instead of being 45 minutes out in the middle of nowhere. You're paying less on rent, but it takes you 45 minutes to go out and do anything. Your lead generation is small. Your access to resources is limited, That's why people pay for the gym subscription. They don't have the money to invest in all those equipment, so they pay for the gym, which had a generation of it generated equipment. So they go there to pay for the equipment generation, right? But now I need you to focus on lead generation. I'm talking to myself too right now, because this is the difference between me living the dream life that I want to live with the wellness company that I'm referring people with, and me hitting a plateau where I'm not going to be able to, get as fast of results as I can. With lead generation, I can go out there and make it happen. You can make a good conversation happen. But if you don't know how to talk to people, if your social skills are ill to none, then you're at the mercy of, you're just hoping to find a weak frame that's willing to talk to you. People that are easy to talk to don't have much going on. So the fact that people are rejecting you when you're going out and trying to socialize with them, like I just had happen to me right here. I was trying to go up and take pictures of people professionally and get their phone numbers so that I could hit them up with a wellness company follow-up. And I just wasn't hitting the right energy, but I got rejected like 20 times and stopped. And I was like, I'm going to make this video instead. But the point is I tried. And then tomorrow I'm going to try again. And I'm going to keep tweaking it until I find it. Because once you find it, it's easy. Once you find out how it works, it's like, oh, that's it? So, it's kind of like learning to dance or getting in the rhythm of dancing. Like, even I don't know how to dance. But once I start getting going and I'm not thinking so much about how I'm moving, the more I think about how I move, the worse it gets. If I'm just like, all right, let me Saturday night, But as soon as you start just not caring and you're flowing, like I'm just trying to give a visual example right now, then you actually loosen up and you do better. That's why people drink. That's why people smoke, because they don't know how to access this state by themselves. But what I'm telling you is it's a winner effect. So you have to slowly massage yourself into it. And the whole mindset here is, like Owen said, lead generation. Once you get enough superfans, you don't have to go out every day and do this. Once you get enough people around you that are invested in you winning because they're in your social circle, you don't have to go out and do it. They'll do it for you. They'll bring people to you. You know what I'm saying? Like Owen has all the time. I mean, I've had people do it with me in a small sample group where they're like, oh, check out my boy Gabe. He edits. Check out my boy Gabe. He makes rap. And people will do that for you. But the more you actively go out there and make it happen, what you focus on will grow. So that's why I'm pleading with you guys right now, if this is making sense, and I'm talking to myself as well. Potently focus on this idea right now. Lead generation. That is the one step that's keeping you away from your dreams. You need to find the people that are willing to support your dreams. How do you do that? Through lead generation, like any other business. Even Jesus had to do lead generation to get people to hear his message, the good news, the gospel. I'm going to leave it there. Everyone go check out Owen Cook. He does free events. And that's what inspired this talk. And later on this week, I'm going to be dropping a video about how most of our minds are against us, right? Constantly doubting, constantly picking fights, constantly pleading for your attention when you should be doing something else. And we're going to be talking about how to change that around, how to turn that around, and your brain should be always in your favor. Everyone else is out to get you. Why are you out to get yourself? So on that note, do yourself a favor. Take 10 minutes to finalize what you thought of this instead of moving on. And then your future self will thank you because they'll take actions on this instead of just letting it go to the wind.